Hey guys, the purpose of this video is to walk you through the annotated bibliography assignment sheet. And of course at the end, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to send me an email. I'm happy to answer them. I hope you guys are doing well, considering, everything that is going on. And if I reuse this video in future semesters, this video is being made during the COVID-19 pandemic, and it's very strange to be out of class right now. So anyway, if you're currently with me this semester, hope you guys are doing okay, and in future semesters I hope we don't have to do this ever again. Alright, so annotated bibliography, my plan here is to just kind of read through the assignment sheet, talk about what I'm expecting. I will elaborate on some of the content in here, so you'll get more information if you watch this whole video, but most of what you need to know is on the assignment sheet as well if you are unable to watch the video. Okay, so this is worth 75 points. Essentially, the way that I'm approaching this, I think, is like you're going to have 3 sources, and the concept of citing those sources and summarizing them and considering how you're going to use them in your paper all adds up to 75 points. This is one of the assignments that is prep work for your final research paper. So hopefully at this point where you are in your to-do list, you've already read about what an annotated bibliography is, why researchers use them, but just a quick overview. Basically, it's a way to catalog the research that you're doing, any article that you have engaged with, whether you've fully read it, whether you've read just parts of it and decided that it's not going to be useful for your research, whether you want to use it and what parts of it you want to use. An annotated bibliography is a catalog of research that saves researchers time in the long run. Alright, so it's part of our prep work for the final paper, and just don't forget there are some off-limits topics. These are off-limits for mostly plagiarism reasons, and also just there are really, I think, obvious choices that a lot of students like to gravitate toward when they're writing a research essay for a freshman English course in college, and those are the things that I want most of my students to stay away from because they're just kind of overdone, in my opinion. Okay, so your task for this assignment is to find 3 sources that you could use in a full exploratory or argumentative research essay on a topic of your choice. Remember, you just have to pick one type or style of essay that you want to write. You don't have to write an exploratory and an argument. You could do one or the other. With the 3 sources that you use for your annotated bibliography, all of your sources should come from credible sources, such as newspapers, magazines, or journals. It's fine to use online articles. Most online articles that you're going to find are published online, but the publisher also has a magazine, newspaper, or a journal that's associated with it. So in that instance, you're fine there. Once you start getting into websites where you don't know who wrote the article, where you don't know who published the website, where the content seems really questionable, or maybe it's for one particular agenda, that's when you might consider staying away from the source. But just because a source has a bias doesn't mean it's not credible. It just has a bias, and it's something that you need to be aware of. In fact, I'd probably argue that everything has a bias. Make sure that your sources aren't any religious text, government constitution. I don't mean .gov articles, those are fine, but like the United States Constitution, or a conspiracy theory. Make sure you're not citing those types of things. Those just, and in the academic world as a whole, are generally not accepted as viable research sources. Now, of course, the caveat to that would be if you're writing an exploratory paper on a religious text, a government, or a conspiracy theory, and then in which case it would be fine because those would probably be more of like your primary sources in that sense. Also, the sources that you choose, you will use them again in our next assignment when we evaluate one of them, and then of course you'll probably use them in your research essay. So keep that in mind. Make sure that you pick articles that you would want to read again. Also, some people will probably want to know, like, if you put these articles on your annotated bibliography, do you have to 100% use them in your research paper? No, you do not. If you find an article here that you really liked, you thought it was going to be helpful, but you decided, you know what, maybe this really isn't going to be helpful for your paper, that's okay. Put it on your annotated bibliography anyway, and just when you're in the evaluation section, just let me know that you're not going to use it. That's also the point of an annotated bibliography. Okay, so I am asking for something very, very strictly structured here. I will definitely take off points if you do not follow the structure exactly how I want it. So this isn't just a suggestion. These are the guidelines and the rules for this assignment. So please familiarize yourself with them and know that if you don't follow the structure, I will take off points. All right, now this structure is my structure. It helps me effectively evaluate your work. It does not mean that every single annotated bibliography must be structured exactly like this. You'll notice there's a general format for all annotated bibliographies wherein you have like a reference or a citation and then a paragraph below it talking about the source that you cited. I'm asking that that paragraph below be very, very specific in what you provide to me. So that's just a personal preference for me. All right, an annotated bibliography is structured differently from many of the assignments you've done before, so pay attention. This is not an essay. It does not have an introduction. It does not have a conclusion. Once you format your basic document in MLA format and you put the title, you jump straight to the next line and provide a citation. So there's no opening paragraph or anything like that. So begin your annotated bibliography by putting the document in basic MLA format, last name, page number in the top right corner. Then on the first page, your name, my name, class, date. In the center, on the next line where you'd normally put your title, I want you to title it Annotated Bibliography, and then I want you to tell me the topic that you're going to select for your research paper. Below the title, and then going back to the left-hand side of the page, I want you to write the works cited citation for the first source that you've found. Use the hanging indent function and use MLA format 8th edition. The video, I believe, in the next part of Blackboard as you work through the weekly to-do list this week, has that information on how to cite it, on how to do a hanging indent. If I'm wrong about that and there is not information on how to do a hanging indent, then please go to YouTube and search like how to do a hanging indent in Word or Pages or Word Online. Actually might be a little bit different, or Google Drive or whatever software you're using. Now, once you've got all the basic stuff, you've got the title, you have the citation for the first source, then what I want you to do is, oh, that's too big. Okay, what I want you to do is write exactly 6 sentences in paragraph form after you write the citation. Now I want the 6 sentences to be formatted exactly like this list that you see here. One of the things that I noticed as I've evaluated a couple semesters worth of these annotated bibliographies is that a lot of students think that the citation is sentence 1, but that is not the case. So a lot of the times I will get a citation and then a paragraph with only 5 sentences because students are thinking that that citation is a sentence, but it's not a sentence, it's a citation. So sentence 1 in the paragraph below that citation does include a lot of the information that that the citation includes. However, I still want you to write it as a complete sentence. So when sentence 1 says, identify the title, author, and type of source in the year it was published, then you would write something like, this article titled blah 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 by so-and-so is a magazine article published in 1997 or whatever. If you don't have the publication date or the author, if there's some element that's missing here, that's okay. You just leave it out. I will understand. If a lot of the content is missing, there's no author, there's no year it was published, you're not really sure what type of source it is, you might decide this is not a credible source. So just keep that in mind. Then in sentence 2, summarize the main idea of the source. That's just the most important overarching, like, what is the source's thesis statements? What is the main idea? One sentence. You only get 6 sentences for this component of the annotated bibliography. Then move on to sentence 3, point out one major supporting detail. Okay, so all arguments have a main idea and then they have supporting details. All texts have main ideas and supporting details. So after you've summarized the main idea, what's one supporting detail? Do not quote any material anywhere in your annotated bibliography. Sentence 4, point out another major supporting detail. Sentence 5, here's where we're switching from summarizing and explaining what's going on in the source we're looking at to how you think you're going to use it in your paper. So sentence 5 says, explain how you'll use this source in a full essay on your topic. So if you're using an exploratory essay, maybe you might say something like, this source will help me better understand the differences between coal burning furnaces and electric furnaces or something like that. Then I want you to elaborate on sentence 5. Okay, so if you said as a whole, the source is going to help you understand the differences, well, what particular differences? Like, I want you to take sentence 5 and just get really a little bit more specific with it in sentence 6. Like I said before, you only get 6 sentences. If you write 7, that's too many. If you write 5, that's too few. Exactly 6 sentences is what I'm looking for here. So be careful. Check for fragment sentences. Check for run-on sentences, because you only get 6 of total sentences. And I want them to be formatted exactly as you see here. All right, now that would be your basic document format, your title, a citation, and then a paragraph. You need to do the citation and that paragraph with the 6 sentences in it again for source number 2 and for source number 3. And so if you look at this example from the assignment sheet, you'll notice that we have our last name and page number, all of our basic document information, our header, or excuse me, our title. First, you've got the citation itself. Now, this is not a sentence, this is not sentence 1, this is just the MLA 8th edition citation for the source. And then we see there's a paragraph below here which has those 6 sentences. Sentence 1 is the title, author, type of source, year that it was published. Then in sentence number 2, I summarize the main idea of the whole entire article. In sentence number 3, I talk about a supporting detail. In sentence number 4, I talk about another supporting detail. Now I'm using the phrase in my essay, which shows that I'm transitioning from summarizing content to evaluating how I'm going to use this in my paper. I have kind of this main idea of how I'm going to use it, and then I say specifically, and so again, I'm just kind of narrowing it down in my 6th sentence to what am I really going to do with what I said I was going to do. So that's 6 total sentences. It's not 5, it's not 7, it's exactly 6, and that is what I'm looking for here. And of course, I'm grading you guys on grammar, sentence content, and formatting. And as long as you do all of the things that I'm asking for in this assignment sheet, you will do well on the annotated bibliography. If you're having trouble finding sources, let me know. I love research. I would be happy to help you find some sources for this assignment. If you have questions about the sources that you're finding, how to cite them, whatever, there is resources and information in Blackboard, but of course, I'm here for you guys. So I hope you all are doing well. If you have any questions, please let me know.